Very good evening, dear friends, music lover and literature lover friends. Like previous day, like every day, I'm now present among all of you, dear friends, to share in connection with Indian music among the great and भारतीय संगीत में रसानुभूति, spiritualism in Indian music among the great. My main subjects are music related and literature related, other Hindi, Bengali, Urdu or in English. So, dear friends, be present with me in course of my Facebook live on date. Thank you very much. Now I start Indian music among the great. But before that, I always quote where words fill, music speaks with the perfect notation, with melodious voice of singing or playing any Indian instruments, speaks spiritually. Music is the best therapist for universal health and humanity. So, today I love to share among all of you, dear music lover friends, among the great musicians of our country, Tyagaraja. I think you must have heard the name of Tyagaraja ji, Pandit Swami Haridas ji, Tansen. So earlier I shared in Hindi version about Swami Haridas ji, Tansen ji, but now on date, on the basis of information so gathered since long about legendary Indian musicians like Pandit Tyagaraja. Pandit Tyagaraja sang in humility. Many are the great souls, to them all my salutations. In its long and checkered history, music has received new impetus and orientation in its form, style and or content. These have been given fresh life and have even turned the tide of social appreciation. Because of the men and women who were behind such movements, no account of our music can be complete without a study of their lives and contributions. Pandit Jayadev, if I quote a beautiful quotations, if thy spirit seeks to brood, Om Hari glorious, Hari good, if it feeds on solemn numbers, dim as dreams and soft as slumbers, lend keen ear to Jayadeva, Lord of all the spells that save. So wrote Jayadeva, the immortal, whose Sanskrit poem Geet Govind is one of the greatest landmarks in the history of Indian music. Of the musical influences that have shown new paths to our culture, it should be ranked with the Purandar Dasa, the Kritis of Tyagaraja Dhrupads of Swami Haridas Ji, and the Khayals of Sadarang and Adarang Ji. All of them have either given us new forms or created music of the highest quality in a pre-existing style. Geet Govinda is, however, unique in many ways. Undoubtedly, it is a magnificent musical composition. But even as literature, it has almost no equals apart from the beauty of language, its content, if its content is of the finest mystic adoration. Geet Govinda has been also used as an excellent theme for dance. Great paintings have been inspired by it. Jayadev Goswami, the author of Geet Govinda, lived in the 12th, 13th century. There is some doubt regarding the place of his birth. It is believed that he was born in Kendubilva, a small hamlet in the Birbhum district of West Bengal, Kenduvila. Some are, however, of the opinion that his birthplace was Bindubilva in Odisha. Not much is known of his ancestry either. Some claim that his forces came from Punjab and some say of Gujarat. Pandit Jayadev's father was Vojandeva and his mother Radha Devi, Rama Devi, Vama Devi. Padmavati was his wife. There is a story of Jayadev's marriage to her. Jayadev was left an orphan even when he was a child. He doesn't seem to have had any worldly desires or ambitious and took to wandering like medicient with the name of Hari on his lips. Eventually, he reached Puri in Odisha. There a Brahmin, Sudeva, had a daughter, his firstborn Padmavati. He had vowed to give his first child to Lord Jagannath. Adhering to his vow, he wanted to hand over the girl to the Lord's temple. But Sudeva was told in a dream that he should her in marriage to the pilgrim Jayadeva. Perhaps the poor mendicant did protest about his utter incapacity to support a wife. But Padmavati was married to the helpless fellow, as it was Lord Jagannath's command. Thou poor is worldly goods. Then the couple lived an extremely happy life, conjugal happy life. Jayadeva was recognized in his own times as a very great poet. He was received with honor and made the court poet by Raja Lakshman Sena of Navaddip, West Bengal. The king 1178 to 1205 AD was the son of Bolloshen, himself a great scholar. This family of Sen rulers were most probably from South India, as they called themselves as Karnata Kshatriyas. The text of Geet Govinda deals with the Radha Krishna theme, and that quotation, which is very important to share among all of you, dear music lover. The sky is clouded and the wood resembles the sky thick arched with black thamala bogs. O Radha, Radha, take this soul and trembles in life's deep midnight to thy golden house. So Nanda spoke, and led by Radha's spirit, the feet of Krishna, Lord Krishna, found the road right wherever in bliss which all high hearts inherit. Together taste they love's divine delight. The work contains 12 chapters comprising 24 Ashtapadis songs interspersed with slokas, verses. The subject of the poem is typically Vaishnava devotion. The separation of Radha devotee from the adored Krishna due to ignorance, jealousy, self-importance, so on. The Guru Shokhi dispels the ignorance of Radha, invokes the blessings of the Lord, and brings about the union of the two. The Godhead himself suffers pangs of separation from the devotee, and it is due to his infinite patience and grace that the devotee surrenders family to the will of the Lord. The mystical experience is by Jayadev in his work through symbolism. His descriptions are very realistic, but at once deeply moving and beautiful. There is not a single word that mutual love of Radha and Krishna's in intense but delicate. Madhur Bhakti, the essence of Vaishnavite adoration. We do not have any knowledge of how exactly the Ashtapadis were rendered. In construction, they are songs usually with 8 sections of padas. That is why they are called Ashtapadis. Ashta, that means 8, pada, feet, line. They were composed as prabandhas, which were a type of closed forms in known ragas and talas. Though Jayadev mentions the raga and tala for each Ashtapadi, the original mode of singing is lost to us. With its migration to various parts of the country, the work has acquired new music according to the prevalent local style. The famous Indologist Sir William Jones said, "When I first read the songs of Jayadeva, who has prefaced to each the name of the mode in which it was to be sung, I had hopes of procuring the original music, but the Pandits of the South referred me to those of the West, and the Brahmins of the West would have sent me to those of the North, while they of Nepal and Kashmir declared that they had no ancient music, but imagined that the notes of the Geet Govind must exist. If anywhere where the poet was born, there are traditional styles of more or less antiquity in every region of the country. For example, Maharana Kumbh of Mewar, 15th cent, gave his own music to the songs. In Tamil Nadu, Ramudu Bhavavatar, 17th cent, set the Ashtapadis to music in Carnatic style. There are other local musical varieties, including the Granth Sahib or Bible of the Sikhs, modern singers of Dhrupads and Khyals also have that lyrics to suit their needs, and the greatness of the language and prosody of Geet Govind is such that it has lent itself to all these styles. It has inspired similar works like with Shivashtapadi of Chandrasekhara Saravatri, the Ramastapadi by Rama Kavi. Some people even surmise that Tyagaraja modeled his opera Nauka Charitram on Geet Govind. That so expensive song poem should have been danced to is but natural. Perhaps his wife Padmavati herself danced to his music, for he writes of himself as one who guides the dancing feet of Padmavati. We know for certain that Geet Govind is almost indispensable in Odissi dance, as by a royal decree Pratap Rudra Dev of Puri, 15th cent, made it compulsory that only these songs should be sung in the temple of Lord Jagannath. It is quite probable that the theme and text travelled from Orissa to Andhra, influencing the Kuchipudi dance, and it seems to have been a part of a repertoire of some Bharatanatyam dancers as well. Geet Govinda has also evidently had an impact on the dance of Kerala. For Krishnanattam, the text of which is very close imitation of this work, gradually flowered into Kathakali which uses Ashtapadis from Geet Govinda in its preliminary portions. They said that a picture is a voiceless poem, a vocal picture. The extraordinary, beautiful feeling of these songs have been visualized by our painters. The story of the love of Radha Krishna is painted so delicately and daintily that they might have been done by Jayadeva himself if he had been a painter. With the widespread of Vaishnavism and its bhakti, devotion, the Radha Krishna Lord became a favorite of painters in the western and northern parts of India. What greater poem could there be to illustrate than this? In course of my narration, I try to listen and to share among all of you, dear friends, classical music instruments like playing by Dr. Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab, and sitar of Nikhil Banerjee, Ustad Vilayat Hussain Khan Sahab, Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, even flute of Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji. So in course of my narration about music among the great, please listen and enjoy with my presentation followed by music. We get the very early Gujarat pictures, a series from Jaunpur and even in Mughal style. Rajasthan has given us that dynamic commissions of Rajas, that Sangram Singh and Kalyan Singh, both the princes, the magnificent voiceless poems of Kangra and Vasholi testify to the undying source of creation, that is Geet Govinda. Now, dear music lover friends, now I love to share about the legendary Pandit Haridas ji and Tansen ji too. Earlier, I shared in Hindi version, but today on the basis of informations about the autobiographies of legendary musicians of our country, Haridas ji, Tansen ji, Baiju Bawra ji, I love to share among all of you, dear music lover friends and literature lover friends too. Swami Haridas has a highly significant place in the music of North India, for the era in which he lived was an extremely active and productive one. Reigned for nearly 3 decades from 1486 AD. Under his enlightened support, Drupad found a creative atmosphere for growth, and his efforts were the cause of the production of many songs in the Brij dialect, modeled on those of Vidyapati. In his court were a galaxy of musicians such as Bakshu, Bhanu, and Baiju, and he was so devoted by Tansen, who mentions him as one of his patrons. The details of Haridas' life are not well known even among the past musicians. There are 2 schools of thought. According to one, he was born in the year 1480 AD in Rajpur near Vrindavan. His father's name was Gangadhar, and his mother's name was Chitra Devi. At the age of 25, the youth was initiated into sannyas by one Ashudhir belonging to the Nimbarka tradition. Haridas is said to have died in the year 1575 AD. The second school holds that Haridas' father was Ashudhir, a Saraswat Brahmin from Multan. Ganga Devi was his mother. The family migrated to a village called Khairwali Sarak near Aligarh in Uttar Pradesh. Haridas was born here in 1512 AD, and in his memory the place is now called Haridaspur. At the age of 25, the young man became a sannyasi and left his mortal coil in 1607 AD. In any case, the significant fact was that from a very young age, Haridas was drawn to the life of a recluse and became a sannyasi. He shifted his residence to Vrindavan, the playground of the immortal cowherd and his beloved Radha. There he built his ashram, hermitage in Nidhuban, and sang his songs of the love of Radha Krishna. Swami Haridas's compositions may strictly be classed as Vishnupadas, that is, songs in praise of Lord Vishnu, Lord Sri Krishna. But even his Prabandhas, which do not refer to Krishna, have come to be known as Vishnupad, perhaps because of the mystic source of his music, but they are musically constructed like Drupads. He is also said to have composed trivats and rag malas, various ragas, and such other forms. There are about 128 songs attributed to him, of which about 18 are philosophical and 110 were devotional. The former are known as Siddhanta Pada and the latter as Keli Mala. Haridas was deeply learned and widely acquainted with the music of his days. He describes how Radha and Krishna are sporting. Two beams of light are playing unique, and their dance and music too. Ragas and raginis of heavenly beauty are born. The two have sunk themselves in the ocean of ragas. Besides, such descriptions mention is found in his works of stringent instrumental like Kinari, Aghoti, of drums such as Mridang and Duff too. He also talks of ragas like Kedara, Gauri, Malhar and Vasant. The Swami was not only a great musician but also a great teacher. The best known of his pupil was Tansen, one of the 9 James of Akbar's court. Tansen's tutelage with Swami Haridas is still a matter of tradition and popular belief. There is no incontrovertible proof that this was a fact. Also, neither Tansen's life or his style of language show the religious depth of his master. If he did learn with Haridas at all, there is also a popular account that the renowned Dhrupad singer and composer Baiju was contemporary to Tansen and a student of Swami Haridas ji. This, however, is doubtful. The respect that Swami Haridas has received is not merely because of his musical genius, but also due to the literary beauty and simplicity of his Dhrupads. More than anything else, his music and language were inspired by the mystic experience of bhakti devotion, and he is considered as one of the leading figures in the bhakti devotion movement and music. Swami Haridas belonged to the tradition of Madhur Bhakti, adoration expressed in erotic terms. It is said that he was deeply affected by the teachings of the Andhra philosopher and Bhakta Nimbarka, that was 13th saint, who sojourned in the north spreading the gospel of Radha Krishna love. He propounded his philosophy of Vedant and the simultaneous difference and non-difference. But Haridas' theology goes further and embraces not merely the love of Krishna and Radha, but also the witnessing of the love, a state of mind called rasanubhuti, rasa. This aspect of rasa is the theme of all his songs and teachings. In such an condition of trance, he sings of the play of Krishna among the bowers of Vrindavan. That is why his Lord is known as Kunja Bihari. Kunja, bower, and Bihari, one who wanders. More than Krishna, Radha was the central personality of all his poems. He says, "Who knows of the quality of things more than Radha? If anyone has any knowledge at all, it is by her grace. None knows the beauty of raga, tala, and dance as Radha does." Swami Haridas began the Haridasi school of mysticism and had many spiritual disciples. The better known ones were Vitthal, Bipul, Biharin Deva Krishnadas, who fostered his tradition of devotional music. The main features of this was that it was beautiful adoration towards the music, and groups of the devotees came together and sang of the Lord of Vrindavan. In the Brij district, it was called the Samaj and is like the Sankirtan of Bengal and the Bhajana Goshti of South India. So, though one of the greatest musicians of his time, the saint was completely indifferent to laurels and turned his face from all fame. Once Emperor Akbar wanted to hear him, to listen to him. It was impossible to bring the Swami to the royal court, and the hermitage was out of bounds to kings and such like. Therefore, Tansen thought of a ruse. Akbar would go in ragas as a tambura bearer with Tansen to Nidhuban. The two went as planned, and the emperor listened with rapt wonder to the divine music. On return to the court, Akbar remarked to Tansen, "How is it that with all your virtuosity, your music is so inspired and compared to your gurus?" Tansen replied, "What else can it be, for I sing to the emperor of this land, but he sings to the emperor of creation." So, dear music lover friends, it was small autobiography of Swami Haridas ji. Now I come with the autobiography of Tansen. Dear friends, I request you, all of you, dear friends, musicians too, which I see over here, please, I will be glad and I will be more energized if you communicate your valuable comments in course of my Facebook live. I love to share only about music, Indian music and literature too. So I request you, dear friends, please, you write your valuable comments, whether you people like or dislike. So I will be glad, I will be happy, and I will try to rectify if anything wrong informations which I share. But I know since long I love to procure all the informations about the legendary musicians, vocalists, instrumentalists. Since long I procured on the basis of information so gathered and referred from various books, Vishnu Digambar Bhatkandeji's book and Hathras, any other music related books I procured, and I try to edit and I try to write with my own language and love to share among all of you, dear music lover friends. So again I request you, please write your comment. Shubhpratik Sengupta, I see he is a very good sitarist, and just a few days back his father-in-law, late Pandit Anandagopal Banerjee, he was very much close to me, right from Mughal Sarai, Tabluda. He passed few days back, just 4-5 days back. Really, I memorized, I paid floral tribute to the late legendary vocalist of Varanasi. He was so close to me from my childhood, Pandit Rajan Misra ji, and one of my senior friend, Pandit Debu Chaudhuri in Delhi. He expired just few days back, and within interval of 3 days, his son Pratik Chaudhuri, he was also a very good musician. He also died. So in memory, I just there is nothing, and I do not find any word to express about the legendary musicians who left among us. Really, it is deeply sorrowful thing, and this pandemic situations, everybody's are in the house. I really request, I pray Almighty all the time that who those are suffering either in the hospital or at or isolation stage at home, they should immediately be recovered. I always pray Almighty, I always pray my Guru Maharaj Ji, they will recover soon. Okay, thank you, dear friends. Nothing to do. It's because niyotis are there. So try to be positive, and every time try to listen. Music is the best therapist for universal health and humanity. Always I try to quote. Where words fail, Music speaks with the perfect notation, either singing with melodious voice of singing or playing any instruments, sitar, sarod, violin, flute, any santoor or any instruments with the perfect notation. It speaks spiritually. So please listen music. I think every anxiety will be overcome if you listen very soothing music. In course of my narration, you can also listen my music. Thank you very much. So, dear friends, be present with me. Again, after just ending my Tansen's autobiography, then I will come, which I wrote, रसानुभूति इन भारतीय संगीत में किस तरह से रसानुभूति का आनंद है. मैं I will try to share that narration will be in Hindi, which I wrote earlier. So, about Tansen ji. Few musicians in North India have been extolled as Tansen. He had been described often as the greatest singer that this part of the country has known. Naturally, every school of musicians and almost every other Muslim musicians claims to be descendants of this genius. So great an artist was he that even in his own times he became a legend. Abul Fazl, a contemporary of his, exclaims, "There had not been such a musician in the past 1,000 years, neither will there be another." But in spite of so much fame and renown, the facts of his life are not very definitely known, except in generalize. So much has been shrouded in myth. As a matter of fact, we are not even certain when he became a Muslim, if at all he did become one. Makarand Pandey, Mukund Ram Pandey, originally Mukund Ram Pandey, thereafter Makarand Mishra, was a Hindu priest living in Behat village close to Gwalior and seems to have been proficient in music as well. While he begot many children, not one of them lived long. His neighbors advised him, therefore, to seek the blessings of the Muslim saint of Gwalior, Hazrat Muhammad Ghaus. Accordingly, Pandey travelled to the city and the fakir to bless him with a child. Ghaus was moved by the poor man's prayer and gave him a talim to be tied round the neck of Pandey's wife, and in due course the lady delivered a boy who was named Ramtanu Pandey thereafter. The lad was also called Tanna Misra. This Tanna Misra later on came to be better known to the world as Tansen. The year of his birth is not certain, though it is generally taken as 1506 AD, 1520 or 1532. However, more recent studies have put his birth between 1492 or 1493 AD, or more generally the last decade or two of the 15th century. Again, the musical training of the renowned singer is not well documented. The usual tradition says that he was a disciple of Swami Haridas of Vrindavan. The story of how the saint came across the boy Ramtanu goes thus. Once Swami Haridas and his students were on a pilgrimage and had to pass through a dense forest. As they went through the woods, they heard the fearful growls of a lion. Frightened for their lives, the young boys ran as fast as their legs could carry them to the hermit for protection. He had his own doubts and sent them back to find out where the animal was hidden. As they quietly and with fear searched around, they came upon not a lion, but a boy of 10 perched on the branch of a tree and shouting at them like the animal. They caught hold of the naughty fellow, produced him before their master, and told him of the incident. Haridas was impressed by the vocal talents of the child, who was none of other than Ramtanu. The Swami then called for Makarand Pandey and persuaded him to send the boy to Vrindavan to study music. Thus Ramtanu became the disciple of Swami Haridas Ji and learned from him for many a long year. The tutelage of Tansen with the hermit of Vrindavan is doubted by some, for they say that Tansen mentions nowhere in his Dhrupads this fact. Neither it is not are the opinion that Ramtanu's early musical education was in a school of music established in Gwalior by Raja Man Singh, and then he joined the Swami later on. It is surmised that Muhammad Ghaus was one of the teachers at this school. It is also said that at a later stage, Tansen went to Bengal and for some time studied with Muhammad Shah Adil, the last king of the Suri dynasty. After a few years of the intense training, he returned to Rewa to become the court musicians of Raja Ramchandra. As far as Tansen's own account goes, no song of his mentions any guru other than Makarand. There is a general belief that Ramtanu Tanna Misra became a convert to Islam. The tale is that recognizing the musical genius of the boy, his well-wishers took him to Hazrat Muhammad Ghaus for blessings. The fakir, with great affection for the child, put in his mouth a bida, betel leaves and nut, half chewed by himself. While, of course, this action could be considered a benediction, it certainly made Tanna as outcast and a Muslim. According to another story, Tanna Misra became a Muslim in order to marry a girl of that religious belief. Rani Mriganayani, the widow of Raja Man Singh, was herself a good musician, and Tanna was one of her favorite artists. The young man used to visit the palace often, both to listen to the queen as well as to sing to her. In the service of the Rami, there was a beautiful maid, Hussaini, a Hindu but converted to Islam. The Las and Tanna fell in love with each other and got married with the consent of the queen. The wedding was celebrated with Hazrat Muhammad Ghaus as the chief priest. It was for this ceremony that Tanna became a Muslim and from then on came to be called Ata Ali Khan. Quite a number of scholars reject all this as meaningless, if not prejudiced. First, it is pointed out that if Tanna's year of birth is taken as 1493 AD, Muhammad Ghaus could have been a boy of only 10. Surely it would be absurd to imagine that a child of 10 could have blessed an elderly Brahmin, Makaran Pandey, with a child. Also, the compositions of Tansen do not show any trace of Islamic influence. On the contrary, his devotion to Hindu gods are well known. Again, the rituals at his funeral were typically Hindu, a fact which casts further doubts on his ever having been converted to Islam. Added to all this is that no contemporary writer talks of such conversation. Tanna Misra, in any case, was without doubt the most sought after musician of his days. Kings and emperors vied with one another to keep him in their courts. It was such a signal honor and a prestige. His greatness as a singer was recognized early, and Raja Bikramjit, the son of Raja Man Singh and ruler of Gwalior 1516 to 1518 AD, conferred upon the maestro the honorific title Tansen. The first real patron of Tansen was Raja Ramchandra. Disconnect. In fact, Biddut Chamkache. The king, an ardent admirer of the singer, is said to have given 1 crore golden coins to him in appreciation of the genius. The fame of the musician reached the ears of the young Emperor Akbar through the Jain Khan. He had perforce to agree to Akbar's request that Tansen be sent to the imperial court. The emperor sent one Jalal Khan Kuruchi with a force of armed men to bring the great singer with all honors to his darbar in the court. It must have been a painful separation for both Tansen and Raja Ramchandra. Priceless diamonds, Tansen bowed his head in gratitude and said, "Sir, this right hand of mine, which is being honored with these invaluable jewels, will not receive any other honor from any other." So it was said, he never took from then on any gift or present from anybody, to be owned on his right hand. Thus the unsurpassed Dhrupad singer of all time entered as a highly respected courtier the services of Emperor Akbar in 1562 AD and become famous as one of the 9 gems of the Mughal court. In his old age, Tansen returned to Gwalior, where he died in the year 1595 AD. Other dates given for his demise are 1585, 1589, and 1610. His funeral was a memorable occasion with a huge processions of song and dance, and characteristically Hindu custom. Before his passing away, he is said to have expressed a desire to be buried near the grave of Hazrat Muhammad Ghaus at Gwalior. This grave of his had become a center of pilgrimage to musicians, and an annual music festival is held there in memory of the immortal singer. Tansen lived in a period when Dhrupad reached its highest degree of popularity, and so his compositions and style of singing were of this type, both in their poetic beauty and musical grandeur. They are some of the best songs we have. He is credited with thousands of Dhrupads, a few hundreds of which bear the name of Akbar. 3 works, Sangeet Sar, Ragmala, and Sri Ganesh Stotra, are attributed to him. Some of his Dhrupads, which have musical technicalities as their libretto sahitya, reveal his profound insight into musical intricacies like Sufi, Grama, and Murchana. Tansen, respectfully called Mia Tansen, is traditionally accepted as the creator of new ragas, which bear the prefix of Mia, Miyaki Todi, Miyaki Sarang, Miyaki Malhar, and so on. Rag Darwari Kanra musicians believe is also his gift to the music of North India. The musical descendants of Mia Tansen have come to be known as the Senia Gharana. One of his sons, Surat Sen, specialized in Dhrupads of Dagar Bani, and his progeny settled in Jaipur. Tansen's younger son, Bilas Khan, continued his father's style of Gauhar Bani. The daughter of the Mia, Saraswati, married one Misri Singh, who was a fine veena player and is considered to be the founder of an important school of instrumentalists of Hindustani music. So, dear music lover friends, this was the small autobiography of Pandit Tyagaraja ji, related with Jayadev, Swami Haridas ji, and Tansen ji. Earlier, previous days, I shared about autobiography of Baiju Bawra. Then I will again come with Sadarang and Adarang ji. So this is the high time which we are going through with the pandemic situations right from 2020, 22nd March 2020, which we are suffering. We are in the pandemic situations. So I request all of you, dear friends, don't be panic and be positive and try to listen, hear Indian classical music or any other soothing music. So now this is almost 9:45 past. Now I love to share about भारतीय संगीत में रसानुभूति. अब ये मेरा हिंदी में नरेशन होगी. आप दोस्त मुझे अपना अपना कमेंट्स अवश्य लिपिबद्ध करें. इस फेसबुक लाइव के माध्यम से मैं आप सबों के संग जुड़े हुए हैं. तो आप अगर कैसा लग रहा है, आप अगर इसे लिपिबद्ध करेंगे अपने लेखनी के माध्यम से, तो मुझे बहुत प्रोत्साहन मिलेगा और भी मुझे ऊर्जा प्राप्त होगी. मैं तो रोजाना आते रहता हूँ. गृह मंदिर में गृहबंदी होकर कुछ तो करना है, तो मैं साहित्य, संगीत और इसी के साथ जुड़े रहने का प्रयत्न करते रहता हूँ. और ईश्वर से हर क्षण मैं प्रार्थना करते रहता हूँ कि हमारे जितने भी परिजन, जितने भी दोस्त देश विदेश में जहाँ भी हमारे जान पहचान वाले हैं या नहीं भी हैं, जो भी संक्रमित हो चुके हैं, और अगर मान लीजिए कि अस्पतालों में, नर्सिंग होमों में चिकित्साधीन हैं, या घर में ही, अपने गृह मंदिर में ही आइसोलेशन स्टेज में है, तो मैं ईश्वर से विनती करते रहता हूँ, प्रार्थना करते रहता हूँ कि जल्द से जल्द वो शीघ्र अपना स्वस्थता लाभ करे. हाँ, और घर में ही रहे, आतंकित न हो, भयभीत न हो, ईश्वर की आराधना करते रहे, अच्छा संगीत सुनते रहे, परिवारजनों के साथ खाते पीते मौज से रहिए और पॉजिटिव माइंड लेकर अपना जीवन को व्यतीत करते रहिए. मेरी यही शुभकामना सभी प्यारे दोस्तों के साथ मेरा हर क्षण रहता है. तो आप सभी एकदम मस्त रहिए, तंदुरुस्त रहिए और सारा दिन में कुछ योगासन, प्राणायाम और फ्री हैंड एक्सरसाइज करते रहिए और एकदम बिल्कुल मस्त रहिए. तो अब लीजिए भारतीय संगीत में रसानुभूति. इसके पहले भी मैं शेयर किया हूँ, तो अब मुझे अच्छा लगते रहता है. संगीत के संबंध में कुछ बातें कहते रहता हूँ, या अपना साहित्य के जरिए अपना स्वरचित कविता को भी आप सबों के समक्ष में प्रेजेंट करते रहता हूँ. मुझे अच्छा लगता है, चाहे बंगला कविता हो, हिंदी हो, वो अंग्रेजी कविता हो. अपने छात्र जीवन में लिखी हुई कुछ कविताओं को मैं अपनी डायरी में अभी भी एकदम बिल्कुल मौजूद रखता हूँ और बीच बीच में उसे पढ़ते रहता हूँ और आप सभी दोस्तों के बीच में शेयर कर मैं गौरवान्वित महसूस करते रहता हूँ. उर्दू शेर और शायरी भी करते रहता हूँ. तो अब लीजिए भारतीय संगीत में रसानुभूति किस तरह से. देखिए, गायन, वादन तथा नृत्य का संबंधित जो समन्वित रूप होता है वो संगीत कहलाता है. यानी गायन, वादन हो तथा नृत्य हो, इसका जो समन्वय, जो समन्वित जो रूप है वही संगीत कहलाता है. जीवन का लक्ष्य होता है क्या? आनंद की प्राप्ति होना, सुखमय, निरामय, शांतिमय जीवन किस तरह से प्राप्त किया जाए और लक्ष्य क्या होता है. तो संगीत द्वारा आनंद की प्राप्ति तभी संभव है जब वो रसों के अनुकूल हो. आनंद बहुत ही व्यापक शब्द है. वियोग रस में मग्न व्यक्ति को वियोग रस से युक्त संगीत में ही आनंद आएगा. ये मेरा दृढ़ विश्वास है. हर्ष व उल्लास से पूर्ण व्यक्ति को हर्षोल्लास से परिपूर्ण संगीत ही अच्छा लगेगा. भक्ति भावना में आनंद लेने वाले मनुष्य व्यक्ति को भक्ति भावना से ओतप्रोत संगीत में ही आनंद आएगा. श्रृंगार रस प्रेमी जो है, वो श्रृंगार रस का जो प्रेमी है, वो प्रेमी श्रृंगार रस युक्त संगीत में ही चरम आनंद प्राप्त कर पाएगा. कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि संगीत में विभिन्न रसों का समावेश होता है और विभिन्न स्वभावों के लोग अपने अपने स्वभावों के अनुकूल रस से युक्त संगीत में आनंद लेते रहते हैं. इस तरह से समय परिवर्तनशील है. संगीत में भी प्राचीन काल से अब तक परिवर्तन होते आया है. प्राचीन संगीत प्रायः भक्ति रस पर ही आधारित होता था। भक्ति रस में भी संयोग और वियोग दोनों ही पक्षों पर आधारित संगीत था, अभी भी है। अनेक कवियों का काव्य, गेय तथा अतः उसको संगीतात्मक बनाया गया। उसके भावों के अनुकूल स्वरों का प्रयोग किया गया, जिससे किसी विशेष रस की अनुभूति हो सके। मध्यकाल में संगीत को प्रायः श्रृंगारिक समझा गया और उसका प्रयोग राजाओं, नवाबों के दरबारों की शोभा बढ़ाने के लिए किया गया। परिणाम स्वरूप उस संगीत में श्रृंगार रस की अधिक अनुभूति हुई। उसके पश्चात आधुनिक युग में संगीत में कुछ मिलीजुली परंपरा का विकास हुआ, जिसमें हर प्रकार के संगीत का सम्मिश्रण था। और एक और वीरता के देशगान वो आह्वान गीत है। दूसरी ओर श्रृंगार रस इस रस युक्त ठुमरी या गजल आदि है। विभिन्न गायन शैलियों भी विभिन्न रसों को अनुभूति कराते रहता है, जैसे ख्याल गायकी हो या श्रृंगार, वीर भक्ति और शांत रस की अनुभूति कराती है। ध्रुपद गायकी गंभीर है तथा भक्ति वो श्रृंगार रस पर आधारित होती है। धामार वो होरी गायकी हर्षोल्लास की गायकी है। इसमें भी भक्ति वो श्रृंगार रस पर ही आधारित गीत हुआ करते हैं। भजन प्रायः भक्ति रस पूर्ण गायकी है। तराना चंचल प्रकृति की गायकी है। ठुमरी, गजल वो गीत श्रृंगार रस पूर्ण गायकी है। संगीत में ये कहना बड़ा कठिन है कि कौन सा राग किस रस पर आधारित है, परंतु कुछ गंभीर प्रकृति के रागों से शांत वो भक्ति रस की अनुभूति होते रहती है, जैसे राग बिहाग, भैरव, पुरिया धनाश्री इत्यादि रागे। इनके विपरीत कुछ चंचल प्रकृति के राग हैं, जिसमें श्रृंगार वीर वो भक्ति रस की अनुभूति होती है, जैसे काफी, राग खमाज, तिलक कामोद, राग पीलू इत्यादि हैं। कुछ राग जो संधि प्रकाश राग कहलाते हैं, जैसे पूर्वी हो, भैरव हो आदि, प्रायः शांत रस के पूर्ण तथा भक्ति भावना पर आधारित होते हैं। उसमें ऋषभ, धैवत, कोमल स्वर लगने वाले तथा तीव्र मध्यम वाले राग शांत वो श्रृंगार के वियोग पक्ष के रस की अनुभूति कराते रहते हैं। कोमल गांधार तथा निषाद लगने वाले राग प्रायः हर्षोल्लास दर्शाते हैं, जैसे कोमल गांधार हुआ या निषाद हुआ, तो ये लगने वाले राग प्रायः हर्षोल्लास दर्शाते रहते हैं। इस राग की जो छवि आती है, चित्र जो आते रहती है। विभिन्न मल्लार श्रृंगार के संयोग वो वियोग पक्ष पर ही आधारित हुआ करते हैं। भक्त शिरोमणि तुलसी व सूर साहित्य में भक्ति व शांत रस का प्राबल्य है। मीरा तो गिरधर गोपाल की भक्ति में इतनी लीन थी कि उनके लिए गिरधर गोपाल के अतिरिक्त सारा संसार निरर्थक था। उनके गेय पदों में भक्ति रस व श्रृंगार रस का संयोग वो वियोग दोनों ही पक्षों का बाहुल्य था। राष्ट्र कवि मैथिली शरण गुप्ता का काव्य देशभक्ति से ओतप्रोत होने के कारण उसमें वीर रस का प्राबल्य है। महादेवी वर्मा का गेय साहित्य करुण, शोक और शांत रस प्रधान है। महादेवी वर्मा को करुण रस से ओत प्रोत काव्य में ही जीवन का चरम आनंद प्राप्त होता था। आनंद की चरम सीमा ही जीवन का अंतिम उद्देश्य है। इसके अतिरिक्त जयशंकर प्रसाद का गेय साहित्य करुण तथा वीर रसपूर्ण है। सुमित्रानंद पंत को प्रकृति चित्रण में ही जीवन का आनंद प्राप्त होते रहता था। संगीत में गीत के शब्दों का भी संबंध किसी न किसी रस से होता है। यदि गीत के शब्द भक्ति भावना पर आधारित होते हैं तो उस संगीत से भक्ति रस का बोध होता है। यदि गीत श्रृंगार रस से संबंधित है तो श्रृंगार रस का ही बोध होता है। श्रृंगार के भी दो पहलू संयोग श्रृंगार और वियोग श्रृंगार। गीत के बोल जैसे होंगे उसी के अनुकूल स्वर भी प्रयोग किए जाते हैं। शांत रस के गीतों में प्रायः ऋषभ धैवत कोमल तथा तीव्र मध्यम का प्रयोग होता है और इनकी लय धीमी यानी विलंबित होती है और गंभीरता से गाए जाते हैं। श्रृंगार रस पूर्ण संयोग की बंदिशें तेज लय में और चंचल प्रकृति के रागों में प्रायः गाए जाते हैं। भातखंडे जी की बंदिशें मिली जुली होने के कारण उनमें वीर शांत भक्ति वो श्रृंगार आदि रस उसमें दिखाई देते हैं। इसीलिए जैसे नाटू जी की अधिकांश बंदिशें भक्ति रस से परिपूर्ण है। पंडित ओमकारनाथ ठाकुर जी की बंदिशें भक्ति रसों से तथा करुण रस से पूर्ण है। न केवल गीत बल्कि गायक के मनोभाव भी विभिन्न रसों की उत्पत्ति कराते रहता है। जैसे एक ही गीत को शांत तथा चंचल प्रकृति से गाया जाता है। एक ही गीत है, उसे शांत या चंचल प्रकृति के रूप से गाया जाता है और कोई गायक अपने गायन में किसी विशेष रस में डूब जाते, जो शास्त्रीय संगीतकारों में दिखाई पड़ती है। शास्त्रीय गायकों में कोई गायक अपने गायन में किसी विशेष रस में डूब जाते हैं और श्रोताओं को भी उसमें निमग्न करा देते हैं। पंडित ओमकारनाथ ठाकुर मैया मोरी मैं नहीं माखन खायो, मैया मोरी मैं नहीं माखन खायो, इस गेय पद को इतने मार्मिक ढंग से अपने भक्ति रस में डूब कर वो गाया करते थे और श्रोताओं को भी उसमें डुबो दिया करते थे। पंडित रतन झंकार जी भी गायन में आत्म विभोर हो जाते थे और श्रोताओं को भी उसमें विभोर कर दिया करते थे और इस प्रकार के गायन का उद्देश्य आनंद सुखमय आनंदमय सुखमय शांतिमय निरामय की प्राप्ति था। संगीत का मधुर वो रंजक होना परम आवश्यक है। रंजकता वो मधुरता से ही संगीत में किसी रस की निष्पत्ति संभव है। अतः संगीत को रसात्मक बनाने के लिए सही स्वर, सही आवाज, वो अच्छी बंदिश का होना नितांत आवश्यक है। गीत गजल भजन वो ठुमरी आदि अपेक्षित भावों के अनुकूल नहीं गाए जाते तो वे ज्यादा प्रभावी नहीं होते और किसी भी रस को निष्पत्ति में सहायक नहीं हुआ करते। इसी तरह गायन वादन तथा नृत्य में अधि अपेक्षित रसानुभूति होती है तभी वो आनंद तथा रंजकता प्रदान करते हैं, अन्यथा नहीं। न केवल शास्त्रीय संगीत वरन लोक संगीत, आधुनिक संगीत या फिल्म संगीत यदि भावनाओं पर आधारित हो तथा शब्दों के अनुसार ही गाया जाए तो वो अवश्य ही किसी न किसी रस की निष्पत्ति में सहयोग देगा। रस की निष्पत्ति न केवल गायन में वरन वादन में भी होती है। जिस तरह से मैं जो नरेशन कर रहा हूँ संगीत संबंधित बातें, लेकिन मेरा इन कोर्स ऑफ नरेशन ये मेरा शास्त्रीय संगीत का देखिए आप सुने, ये सरोद हो, सितार हो, बांसुरी हो, संतूर हो, महान शास्त्रीय संगीतकारों का मैं सुनते रहता हूँ और आप सभी संगीत रसिक दोस्तों के बीच भी शेयर कर मैं गौरवान्वित महसूस करते रहता हूँ। दोस्तों फिर मैं पुनः गुजारिश करूंगा, आप सबों को कैसा लग रहा है इसे अगर कुछ लिपिबद्ध करें मेरे इस फेसबुक लाइव के दरमियान तो मुझे और ऊर्जा मिलेगी और मैं और अधिक प्रोत्साहित रहूंगा, मुझे और प्रोत्साहन मिलते रहेगा। तो आप काइंडली अपने वैल्यूएबल, अपने प्लीज राइट योर वैल्यूएबल, convey your, communicate your valuable comments in course of my Facebook live. So गायन, वादन तथा नृत्य में यदि अपेक्षित रसानुभूति होती है तभी वो आनंद तथा रंजकता प्राप्त प्रदान किए जाते हैं, अन्यथा नहीं। लिसनर्स को भी अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, जितने भी सुनने वाले लोग हैं। न केवल शास्त्रीय संगीत वरन लोक संगीत हो या आधुनिक संगीत हो, फिल्म संगीत हो तथा शब्दों के अनुसार ही गाया जाए तो वो अवश्य ही किसी न किसी रस की निष्पत्ति में सहयोग देगा। रस की निष्पत्ति न केवल गायन में वरन वादन में भी होता है और श्रृंगार रस से जो संयोग पक्ष में शहनाई वादन, उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहब का शहनाई सुनिए, अली हुसैन साहब का शहनाई सुनिए, ये इस तरह से शहनाई वादन का महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है। करुण रस की निष्पत्ति में सारंगी वादन अपना अलग स्थान रखता है। हर्षोल्लास में तबला, ढोल, बोंगो, कॉन्गो, ड्रम, मजीरा, करताल आदि का अपना निजी स्थान है। गंभीर व शांत गायकों के साथ तबला या मृदंग, पखावज का ही महत्वपूर्ण स्थान दिया गया है। इसके अतिरिक्त वादक के मनोभाव और उसके बजाने के ढंग से भी विभिन्न रसों की निष्पत्ति होती है। अब वादन में स्वरों की संगति से भी विभिन्न रसों की निष्पत्ति होते रहती है। नृत्य में रस का एक महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है। यदि बोल के अनुसार भाव भंगिमा नहीं होगी तो नृत्य प्रभावशाली नहीं होगा। विभिन्न रसों को दर्शाने के लिए नृत्य में विभिन्न भाव, भंगिमाएं, मुद्राएं होती है। उनको कितनी कुशलता पूर्वक दर्शाया जाता है, नृत्य उतना ही अधिक प्रभावशाली होता है। नृत्य में तो एक साथ विभिन्न रसों में निमग्न होना पड़ता है। यदि यह कौशल नर्तक में नहीं है तो वो न स्वयं रसानुभूति कर सकता है और न ही उसके दर्शकगण किसी रस में ओतप्रोत हो सकता है। ये इस तरह से उसे बहुत भाव विह्वल होकर गाना या बजाना पड़ता है। ये ऐसे कलाकारों को कि दर्शकों को भी अपने ओर आकर्षित करने की वो अपने गायकी के माध्यम से या बजाने के माध्यम से वो क्षमता हो कलाकार को। कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि संगीत में रस की निष्पत्ति के लिए उपयुक्त गीत, उपयुक्त स्वरों का प्रयोग तथा उपयुक्त गायक, वादक तथा नर्तक होना भी नितांत परम आवश्यक है, जो स्वयं रसानुभूति करे तथा अपने संगीत रसिक श्रोताओं तथा दर्शक गणों को भी आत्म विभोर कर दे। इसके लिए सतत अभ्यास, रियाज तथा कुशलता की आवश्यकता है। अतः संगीत को मधुर व रंजक बनाकर ही उससे आनंद की प्राप्ति संभव है और उसी संगीत के द्वारा रस की निष्पत्ति भी संभव है। इसी तरह दोस्तों संगीत में किस तरह से रसानुभूति के संबंध में आप सबों के बीच में अपने मौजूद खतियान तत्वों के माध्यम से आप सबों के बीच में मैं शेयर किया। हमारे तापस दादा बेंगलोर से लिख रहे हैं যে তোমার আলোচনার সঙ্গে ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক অসম্ভব সুন্দর। থ্যাংক ইউ তাপস দা। আমি ইন কোর্স অফ মাই ফেসবুক লাইভ আমার নিজেও ভালো লাগে, শুনতে থাকি। ওস্তাদ আলী আকবর খান সাহেবকে শুনছি, এর আগে নিখিল ব্যানার্জিকে, হরিপ্রসাদ চৌরসিয়াজিকে, শিবকুমার শর্মাজিকে, ওস্তাদ বিসমুল্লাহ খান সাহেবকে, হ্যাঁ এইভাবে নিখিল ব্যানার্জির সেতার শুনতে শুনতে আমি লাইভ এই ফেসবুক লাইভগুলো করতে ভালো লাগে আমার। আমি নিজেও শুনে আনন্দ পাই এবং আপনাদেরও আনন্দ দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করি, তো খুব ভালো লাগে। তো আজ অনেকটাই সময় অতিবাহিত হলো। মিউজিক অ্যামং দ্য গ্রেট, it was my first subject and then I came with रसानुभूति in music। हाँ, तो এইভাবে रसानुभूति, संगीत में रसानुभूति, तो इस तरह से आज मैं शेयर किया। और जाते जाते एक दो मेरी अपनी स्वरचित शेर कहिए या कविता कहिए, उसे मैं आप सबों के बीच शेयर कर आज मैं आप सबों से विदा लूँगा और शिवरात्रि कहकर फिर पुनः कल आप सबों के खिदमत में पेश होने की कोशिश करूँगा। और मैं रोज़ाना की तरह आते रहता हूँ फेसबुक लाइव में, तो ये मेरा एक शेर आप सबों के बीच रख देता हूँ, सुना देता हूँ। अगर फुर्सत मिले तो वक्त का इनाम बन जाओ, अगर फुर्सत मिले तो वक्त का इनाम बन जाओ, हम बन जाए लक्ष्मण तुम राम बन जाओ, हम बन जाए राधा क्यों न बने तुम कृष्ण ही बन जाओ। हाँ, इसी तरह से मेरी ये रचना है। मिटाकर जुल्म का रावण और बचाकर प्यार की सीता, जमाने के लिए यकजहती का पैगाम बन जाओ। अगर फुर्सत मिले तो वक्त का इनाम बन जाओ, हम बन जाए लक्ष्मण तुम राम बन जाओ, मिटाकर जुल्म का रावण बचाकर प्यार की सीता, जमाने के लिए यकजहती का पैगाम बन जाओ। और एक और शेर मुझे बहुत पसंद है, ये देखिए, मैं कहते रहता हूँ कि किस तरह से आज हमारे नौजवान दोस्तों, उनकी खिदमत में मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है। এর বাংলায় যদি অনুবাদ করা যায় যে তুমি নিজের শক্তিমত্তায় নিজেকে এমন মহৎ করে তোলো যে স্বয়ং ঈশ্বর এসে তোমাকে প্রশ্ন করবেন তোমার জীবনের আকাঙ্ক্ষা, তোমার অভিলাষ আর কি রয়েছে। इस तरह से दोस्तों, उजाले अपने यादों के, ये शेर भी मुझे बहुत पसंद है। उजाले अपने यादों के हमारे साथ रहने दो, उजाले अपने यादों के हमारे साथ रहने दो, न जाने किस गली में जिंदगी की शाम हो जाए। খুব ভালো থাকবেন আপনারা। যেতে যেতে কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরকেও স্মরণ করে, কদিন আগেই এই 9 তারিখে আমি কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরের স্মৃতিচারণা করেছিলাম, প্রতি বছর করি। তো এবারে তো আর কোথাও বাইরে যাওয়ার আর স্কোপ নেই এই প্যান্ডেমিক সিচুয়েশনেতে, গৃহবন্দী হয়ে থাকাটাই ভালো। তো যার ফলে বাড়িতে বসেই সঙ্গীতকেও মানে নিজের সঙ্গীত সাধনাও করতে হয় এবং কিছু কিছু কবিতাগুলো রেকটিফাই করার চেষ্টা করি, কবিতাগুলো পাঠ করি, আপনাদেরও মাঝে শেয়ার করি আর গান বাজনা শুনতে থাকি, শাস্ত্রীয় সঙ্গীত হোক, ফিল্ম মিউজিক হোক, এইভাবে সময় কাটাই। তাই কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর বলছেন যে তোমার বাড়ির কাছেই সব কিছু রয়েছে, বাইরে অত কিছু দেখবার দরকার নেই। হ্যাঁ, বহুদিন ধরে বহু ব্যয় করি, বহু ক্রোশ দূরে দেখিতে গিয়াছিলাম পর্বতমালা, দেখিতে গিয়াছিলাম সিন্ধু, শুধু দেখা হয় নাই। চক্ষু মেলিয়া ঘর হইতে 2 পা ফেলিয়া, একটি ঘাসের শীষের উপর একটি শিশির বিন্দু। এ বাড়ির কাছেই সব কিছু খনি রয়েছে, হিরে জহরত সোনা সবই রয়েছে। আর এখন এই প্যান্ডেমিক সিচুয়েশনে কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরের এই উক্তিটিকে সব সময় স্মরণ করি যে বাড়িতেই থাকো ভাই, বাড়ির কাছেই, সামনে থেকেই সব কিছু দেখি। ভালো থাকবেন আপনারা, নিজের সুস্থতা বজায় রাখবার চেষ্টা করবেন। সুস্থতা বজায় रखाटाओ এটা आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग। आप सभी प्यारे दोस्तों अपना स्वास्थ्य पर ख्याल रखिए इस पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन में, इस महामारी में, और अपने सुस्वास्थ्य को ठीक रखने के लिए आवश्यक कदम उठाया करें। फ्री हैंड एक्सरसाइज, प्राणायाम, योगासन और खान पान का ठीक ध्यान रखें। बस शरीर तंदुरुस्त रहिए, आनंदित रहिए, भयभीत होने का कोई कारण नहीं है। आनंदमय, सुखमय, शांतिमय, निरामय रहिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया। और गुरु प्रणति देकर मैं आज आप सबों से विदा फाइनली ले रहा हूँ, और आप सबों से फिर एक बार वेव भी कर लूँ। धनंजय शाह, आई वेव विद धनंजय, आई वेव विद असीमा चट्टोपाध्याय मैडम। Thank you, Ashima madam. My younger brother, friend, Professor Ranjan Sinha from Patna. My other friend, Mr. Vibhuti Bhushan Singh ji from Delhi. I wave with Mr. Vibhuti ji. Shubhpratik Sengupta, young, energetic, fantastic, top-class sitarist. I wave with Shubhpratik. Dear Shubhpratik, bhalo theko. Mr. Pawan Agrawal, he is my another friend. He is a very good singer. Gautam Kundu, thank you Mr. Gautam. Taposh Dada from Bangalore. So, Guru Pranoti diye aaj shesh kori. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam, तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धाश्रु ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मृतं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं गंगातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्मस्वदीलक्षम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदिशाक्षिभूतं भवातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरवे सच्चिदानंदमूर्तये। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरवे सच्चिदानंदमूर्तये। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरवे सच्चिदानंदमूर्तये। हरि ओम तत्सत्, हरि ओम तत्सत्, हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम पूर्णमदं पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Madam Tanushree Bose, she is also a very good singer. I wave with Madam Tanushree Bose. Shubhratri, Shubhratri, Shubhratri. Very good night, very good night, very good night. Do take care of yourself individually. Thank you. Again, I will be coming tomorrow at this venue at the same time. Thank you. Very good night.